You are now standing in front of England's oldest visitor attraction. The earliest record and reference to it was nearly 500 years ago in 1538, when it was visited and written about by a member of Henry VIII's staff. It was originally known as the Dripping Well, and then became known as the Dropping Well in the 1800s. It was first put on exhibition and tours conducted around it in 1630. For centuries, people came to the well, but not just to view it. They showered and bathed in its waters, as they believed them to have miraculous healing powers. The well is a huge mineral deposit, over 100 foot wide and 100 foot deep. It is formed the same way as a stalagmite or stalactite, from crystallized mineral deposits dissolved in the waters. The waters are very special. They come from a huge natural lake a mile underground. On their way to the surface, they seep along a special layer of rock called an aquifer, from which they dissolve massive amounts of minerals, mainly calcium carbonate and sodium sulfate. The layer of rock called an aquifer breaks the surface about 100 feet above the well. The waters pour out and over the top here at a rate of 700 gallons. That's over 3,000 litres an hour. Winter, summer, rain or drought. The flow comes from so far underground and from such a huge lake, it's not affected by anything that goes on up here on the surface. The waters have the highest mineral content of any petrifying well in Europe. These were the results of tests conducted recently. So this well is officially the oldest, the biggest, and the best. The well is made of two types of rock. The pale grey rock at the back is a porous rock called tufa, and makes up the majority of the well. Where the water flows down the front, it forms a more compact rock called travertine. In Victorian times, this was cut and polished to make orange jewellery. There are examples of both rocks on display in the museum. Another century-old tradition is to hang things under the magical waters to watch them turn to stone. In the old days, they used to hang wigs and dead animals. Now we use soft toys and our famous teddy bears, which are shipped all over the world. It only takes 3 months to turn a teddy bear completely solid. Compare that to the growth of a stalactite. The two lumps you can see sticking out halfway up the rock face are a gent's top hat on the left and a lady's Victorian bonnet on the right, recorded as being left here to petrify in 1853 and never collected. Many items have been donated for petrification by TV programs and celebrities. Emmerdale, Coronation Street and Blue Peter. We also have a hat belonging to John Wayne, a handbag belonging to Agatha Christie, and a shoe left by Queen Mary when she visited the park in 1923. It's on display in the museum. Of course, no exhibition of petrified objects would be complete without an item left by famous magician Paul Daniels and Debbie McGee for when they were involved in the park. At the time when Mother Shipton was born, Knaresborough townsfolk thought the well that turned things into stone was magic and evil spirits lived there. They were very superstitious and never ventured down here in fear of being turned into stone themselves. It must have been a very frightened or very desperate 15-year-old girl that came down here into the King's Forest on a July evening of 1488 with two young friends in the middle of a summer thunderstorm. That is where the legendary story of Mother Shipton begins. The girl's name was Agatha Sontiel. She was about to give birth and had nowhere else to go. She'd been banished from Knaresborough because she wouldn't tell the local magistrate who the father was. Despite its fearful reputation, she realized that the well could supply water and the nearby cave shelter for the baby. She passed this very spot over 500 years ago and made her way into the cave to your right. Little did she know from her plight how famous or how important the baby she was carrying would become, or that she was about to make history. And we would be standing here talking about that fateful evening over 500 years later.